All right, let's start with the big story that we're tracking today, where India's External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj is all set to meet the kin of 27 out of the 39 Indians who were killed in Mosul in Iraq by the ISIS. Now, according to sources, the Union Minister has called the families of the victims belonging to Punjab to New Delhi in order to meet them today. Remember, Sushma Swaraj had in fact announced in the upper house of the Parliament on the 20th of March that all of the 39 missing Indians in Mosul have been killed by the ISIS. This after they had gone missing way back in 2014. Until now, the Minister of External Affairs has met with the family members of the victims on two occasions. Once in the June of 2014 and then again in the July of 2017. All right, now for more on this, we are joined in by our international affairs correspondent Ramesh Ramachandran. Ramesh, good morning to you. Sushma Swaraj, the India's External Affairs Minister, is expected to meet the family members of the 39 missing Indians. What can we expect to happen today?
Well, there is no official word from the NEA just yet, Mohammed, but we're given to understand that at least some, all the families of the 38 plus 1, 39 missing Indians. Remember, Sushma Swaraj says the DNA of 38 bodies.
All right, we'll try get Ramesh back with us on the line with this. This is what is expected to in fact take place, where at least about 27 out of the 39 Indians who lost their lives, who were killed by the ISIS while they were in Iraq, they will be meeting with India's External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj. Remember, Sushma Swaraj recently in the House of the Parliament had announced that the government had finally found proof. Certain DNA reports had in fact established that the bodies that had been unearthed from several mass graves across Iraq, in one such mass grave, the Indian government had managed to find the bodies of the 39 Indians who earlier had been presumed to be missing, but now they're confirmed to have been killed. And it's not very clear as to when they may have been killed, but they were abducted by the ISIS militants in the year 2014, the time ISIS had captured Mosul. And also remember, there was one individual by name Harjit Masih, who had in fact managed to escape from the clutches of the ISIS terrorists and had managed to return to India. Now, this of course is a very somber sort of a moment. Remember, there was a lot of uproar that took place in the Parliament when the opposition parties had accused the government of not having done enough and of not having been completely forthright in terms of what they had conveyed to the families. So the meeting is expected to take place today. We are given to understand that Sushma Swaraj will be meeting about 27 of the 39 Indians' family members who were killed in Mosul in Iraq by the ISIS. And I'm now told that we have Ramesh Ramachandran with us, who has joined us from the newsroom. Ramesh, it is an important day. Sushma Swaraj, in the last 4 years, had maintained that we do not have enough proof that the missing Indians are dead, and now the government has come out and said that yes, we do now have proof, and Sushma Swaraj will be meeting with the family members of at least some of those who lost their lives in Iraq.
Indeed. Good morning, Mohammed. Now, there is no official word from the Ministry of External Affairs just yet about the likelihood of a meeting between the Minister of External Affairs, Sushma Swaraj, and the families, if not all, at least some of the families of the 39 Indians killed in Iraq. But we're given to understand that there could be a meeting later in the evening or afternoon, but it's still not decided just yet as to whether the meeting will indeed take place today or not. But that said, it's been nearly 4 years since these 39 Indians went missing in Iraq, in Mosul, Mohammed, and there's been no closure at all until last week, when Mrs. Swaraj announced on the floor of the House in Parliament that the 39 Indians are dead. So that came as a shocker to the families, because they're expected to hear from the ministry or the government in person, or at least in private, before the word was made public. But that did not happen, and there's a lot of misgiving on the part of the families of the 39 Indians who expected more from this government on this score.
Absolutely, and also the modalities of how the bodies, the mortal remains of those who lost their lives will be brought back to India. Those have not yet been disclosed, or rather put out in the public domain. Can we expect something on those lines to be, in fact, taking place in the meeting that will happen today?
Well, Mohammed, this is what we know so far, that India will depute its junior Minister of Foreign Affairs, General V.K. Singh, who will be travelling to Iraq in the next couple of days or so, we are told. There's no confirmation yet, but this is what we were told last week, soon after Minister Swaraj made that address on the floor of Parliament, that General V.K. Singh can be expected to lead an Indian delegation along with some of the family members to Iraq to bring back the mortal remains of the 39 Indians back to India and to deliver them to their families in different locations in India, in Punjab, in Bihar, in West Bengal. So that's the plan that the MEA has chalked out so far, but there's no official confirmation yet as to whether Minister Swaraj will indeed be meeting the families today or when General V.K. Singh can be expected to travel to Iraq.
Right, we await information on that. And also, Ramesh, considering the fact that for the last 4 years, the government had in fact been saying that, look, we do not have information about, what exactly has happened. It would not be correct to declare them to be dead, while Harjit Masih, the individual who had managed to escape from Iraq, he'd come out and said, look, I saw that the ISIS had actually shot dead the rest of them. Will the government have to answer to the family members as to what led this delay in coming forth with this disclosure?
Absolutely, Mohammed. There's been a lot of misgivings on the part of the families themselves as to why the government chose to mislead them all these years when they had fairly good ideas to what their whereabouts might be and what their condition might be. In spite of that, the government chose to behave the way it did all these 4 years. But the government, for the government's part, Mohammed, the explanation is as follows. They say, we cannot declare any Indian national dead until we have proof of their death. So this is what the government was working towards. They explored all possible avenues, including sending General V.K. Singh soon after Mosul fell, remember, in mid last year. And since then, we've been engaged with the Iraqi authorities, both in Baghdad and in Erbil, to come to some sort of an agreement as to how to proceed on this matter. And one thing led to another, and before long, the DNA test samples were conducted, and we came to understand that the samples of 38 of those 39 Indians have matched. The 39th Indian, 70% DNA has been matched. We given to understand that confirmation will also be expected in the next few hours or days. So all 39 Indians, for all practical purposes, are dead, and India will bring back the mortal remains as soon as possible.
Right, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed, Ramesh Ramachandran, for joining us and getting us all those updates. So we await the meeting of the family members of those who lost their lives in Iraq with India's External Affairs Minister, which is expected to take place later in the day today.